All right, here we are at Silverstone for round 13 of the GB4 Championship. Me and Piers Pryor here. Piers, earlier on we had GB3 and we were talking about how lovely and bright it is and sunny. The sun has disappeared for GB4, but it could pop its head back out here. So we're kind of hopeful that we don't have history repeating like last time.
Oh God, yeah. At least it's it's trying to be British summer, but it's not doing a very good job.
No, it's not indeed. And last time we were obviously at Zandvoort, we were over there, but Snetterton was the location for the GB4 Championship. And that last race, I mean, we didn't know who was going to be on the podium. I mean, basically the podium changed within the last lap, didn't it?
Very much so. It is pretty much the whole top five kind of changed because the safety car came in with 1 lap to go, and then there was a battle for the lead. The two Fortec cars nearly came together, and then
Chloe Grant's back wing fell off.
Yeah, that fell off, and then we also you'll see all of that in the highlights.
And then Lucas Blakely won the race, and then, well, let me not spoil it for you, but let's watch the highlights from last time out at Snetterton.
Highlights from the Snetterton round of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, and it was a good launch from second position on the grid from Lucas Blakely, who'd take over the race lead coming down into the first corner, and Alicia Palmovsky would have to settle for second. Her eyes would be in the mirrors though, as she'd be focused on the attack of Harry Burgoyne Jr. behind, trying to find his way through and get into the second spot. With a defensive line going down from the Wilson hairpin, it would work out in favour of Alicia Palmovsky. Meanwhile, Chloe Grant would go for a move on Wilson in the background. Baxter would eventually try and find the way past, as well as they'd head their way down towards Bombhole, but an excellent defensive drive coming in from Wilson would mean that he'd hold on to 7th position. Chloe Grant sat off the rear end of that trying to find a way through, but it was Baxter making the move with the inside move down into the Wilson hairpin. Wilson out wide would drop back a couple of positions before dropping back behind Chloe Grant and then making this bit of contact. Grant losing her rear wing and all of that, and dropping right the way down the order. She'd have to bring the car into the pit lane. Meanwhile, it was a dominant performance at the front of the field, coming in from Lucas Blakely to take his first ever victory in the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, ahead of Palmovsky and Burgoyne Jr. Meanwhile, on to race 2 of the weekend and round 11 of the championship. It was a poor start from Baxter, who'd stall basically on the line, but eventually get back going. It was Harry Burgoyne Jr. up to the race lead. There was a head the way down into the first corner. Grand Force going on the attack to try and sneak around the outside, but couldn't quite complete the move, with Palmovsky hanging on from Blakely behind. Blakely not making the progress as he did in the previous race. Finn Harrison in the 38 also defending from Brandon Templeton. There was contact towards the front though, as Harry Burgoyne Jr. and Linus Grand Force would make contact, and Grand Force would drop down the order courtesy of it. Meanwhile, Alicia Palmovsky was attacking Harry Burgoyne Jr. for all she was worth, trying to find any way through, as Harry Burgoyne Jr. was defending for all he was worth, but unfortunately was going a little bit too slow for Palmovsky's liking. Big send down the inside coming into Agostini, but it was an absolutely perfect move from Alicia Palmovsky, who would take over the race lead, and she would hold it all the way up to the checkered flag, through the final corner and over the line as victor once again in the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. And then it was time for the reverse grid race. Already jumped from Chloe Grant from the second row of the grid. She'd get a post-race time penalty courtesy of that, but it was an excellent start from Megan Bruce at the front of the field. Jack Taylor taking a defensive line from Wilson and from Hickey down into the first corner. Meanwhile, some big attacks in the background coming in from Chloe Grant. She was wrestling her way back into the scene. Megan Bruce taking a defensive line coming down into the Bruntel-Nelson complex. It was unable to fend off the charge of Jack Taylor, who'd head to the front of the field. Already, though, being joined in that fight by Lucas Blakely, who was charging his way up the field, trying to find a desperate victory to end out the weekend. Meanwhile, Finn Harrison was onto the scene. Brandon Templeton would run out wide. Linus Granford would also come through to take over 3rd and 4th position. Templeton dropping back down the order. Meanwhile, there was a bit of contact as there would be Wilson off the road, and coincidentally at the same time, Chloe Grant would join them off in the grass as well after contact with Dan Hickey. The race would get back underway though as we charge our way down into the first corner. It was Taylor with the inside line, Linus Granford around the outside. Taylor would overcommit for the first corner. Finn Harrison would come into the mix as well, and sneaking his way through to take over the race lead was Lucas Blakely to take the lead at the line.
Yeah, a chaotic weekend last time out at Snetterton. We saw Lucas Blakely go over the line there and win that race, but actually then he didn't win that race. He was given a grid penalty, a penalty for a false start there. So Alicia Palmovsky took the victory. Alicia Palmovsky having a great weekend at Snetterton, and it means that we now have 3 drivers in the top 3, with Harry Burgoyne Jr., championship leader at the moment, and Alicia Palmovsky at the other side of Linus Granfors, who will start on pole position for this race, and they're kind of breaking away from the pack a little bit.
Yeah, those 3 just seem to be the ones that are pushing on and getting the consistently strong results, which is pushing them away from the field. Great to see Alicia getting another win. Of course, you would like to have run it on the road, but hey, you've got to take them when you can get them. She's really coming on strong, and it would be good to also see her teammate Finn Harrison get some solid results. He's been so quick on so many occasions and just not quite converted it, and you just saw getting caught up in that final lap incident that wasn't really his crash, and he'll be looking to push on as well.
Hearing from a lot of teams and drivers in the paddock that Linus Gramforce's Vortex setup is admired by many, very, very quick around here, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do from pole position. And also Harry Burgoyne Jr. hasn't won a race yet this season, but is the championship leader, and it just shows what consistency he can do for you.
Well, we've had Max Maserati on this show, and he was Mr. Consistency, back in GB4 when he was racing, and he was right in the championship hunt right to the last round in a similar position where he hadn't won any races until towards the end of the year. Or did he even win any races? I don't know if he did.
I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did. But hey, I'm sure Harry Burgoyne, it's only a matter of time. They'll be pushing on KMR Sport Team, and of course we know do a good job. Champions last year with Tom Mills. Right up there this year with Harry Burgoyne and also Lucas Blakely as well. So I'm expecting him to be strong this weekend.
Yeah, me too, absolutely. Well, look, we have one new face on the grid this weekend in the VRD by Arden car. Let's hear from Ava Dobson. Ava, you're here for your first race in Europe, and you've chosen the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. That's a pretty good choice.
Yes, I actually am having a really great time here. It's my first time here, so I'm really excited, and especially because it's such an iconic track in the UK, and F1 was just here, so it's like it all feels pretty big still, so I'm having a great time.
Yeah, we've got all this sort of additional seating they have up for the F1, so it does feel really, really big. I think the MotoGP's here very soon as well. When it comes to your experience so far, you're making your debut here. What else have you raced in over in the States?
In the States, I raced in USF Juniors, and then the year before I did F4, so that's all.
Excellent. I mean, well, so USF Junior races, does that race alongside IndyCar?
Yes, they do sometimes.
I mean, that's pretty cool, and you get to race all those cool tracks, and I know that being from Wisconsin Road America is probably a highlight for you.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, last year when I made my debut in USF Junior, I did pretty well for my first time there. So, and I mean, I've been practicing a lot in the 2000 and stuff, so I'm just really like working towards getting better and just finding all the track time and being able to be next to IndyCar. It was just really great. I mean, you get to experience so many new things with them, and you get to see so many things, so it's great.
Hopefully a glimpse into the future. Being brought up in the United States, is that the aim, or is it F1? I mean, what are your aspirations?
Honestly, anything that I can race, anything that I'm given the opportunity to drive, and wherever it takes me is where it's meant to be, so I'm cool with whatever, honestly.
Amazing stuff. Well, obviously you're racing here this weekend at Silverstone. How does the GB4 car compare to the cars you've driven before?
It actually kind of feels more like the USF 2000 car, which is the faster car in the States. And it's definitely it's not as fast, but it definitely handles just like it. But it's definitely a bit different with the handling for sure. I just noticed like it's a little harder to drive for me at least. And I've obviously never been here in such a high-speed track, so it's definitely different for sure.
No pressure at all, but what are you hoping to achieve this weekend?
I'm just hoping to achieve not last. Because, I mean, all these people who've driven here have so much time here. They've driven the series. They know what they're doing. And honestly, like, if I do get last, I really don't care. I'm here for the experience. I'm here to do something different, do something new, and I'm really challenging myself and what I can do here to show, like, what am I capable of doing. And I'm always up for a challenge. I don't care where it puts me, but I'm just hoping to learn a lot.
Excellent. It sounds like you're very comfortable being in at the deep end, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with Ava Dobson there. They're going to be hoping for a very positive debut. She's in the number 2 car with VRD by Arden, so look out for her. Piers, there's something we've got to talk about.
Not now.
Not that. No, we'll talk about that later with a pharmacist. No, so we have a brand new car for next year in GB4, and we've seen pictures of it. Then we saw videos of it, and actually,
you've seen it.
I've seen it in person now, right? I had a quick watch of it being tested yesterday with Max Maserati, who you've mentioned already. Seems to get way more mentions than he deserves on this channel. And, I mean, it's an impressive piece of kit. And actually, I caught up with Max yesterday to get his thoughts on the brand new car you'll see racing in 2025 in the GB4 Championship. So here it is, the brand new GB4 car for 2025 onwards. Behind me is the Tatus MSV GB4-025 that will become very, very familiar from next year onwards. A totally redesigned aero package. We've got the halo for the very first time in the GB4 Championship. This car very similar looking to the current GB3 car, which will change in 2025. And one of the main differences on the GB3 car, you'll see the big air intake on the left-hand side here. Well, the air intake is now on the top in this GB4 car, and I have a man that's standing by right now that can tell us more about what it's like to drive this car. And actually, if that makes any difference at all, that is Max Maserati, who has driven in the GB4 Championship. You've driven a GB3 car, and now you're the first person to have tested this new GB4 car. First question, does that air intake do anything different to the GB3 on the side? Is it just a positioning thing?
Yeah, it's just a positioning thing. I'd say the car itself is really great. It's really good to sort of have the next generation car. And, you know, it looks aesthetically, before you even get into anything about what it's doing, it looks great. It looks like a full, proper, you know, this next gen. It looks like a good car. So
it is very, very pleasing on the eye. I know that the first thing you noticed was the brakes. So tell me about why the brakes are different to the current GB4 car.
The current car, you really have to smash it. Like when we're coaching or driving ourselves, you look at about 100 bar pressure for like big braking zones, which is quite hard, especially if you're a 15, 16-year-old hitting 100 bar to slow the car down is obviously really difficult. The brakes in this car is much, much better. So the car deceleration is incredible. It's really, really good.
We know these cars are obviously very safe, the current GB4 car, the current GB3 car as well, but there's enhanced safety measures here. We can see the halo on top here. That's an obvious one, but also there's increased strength in the side pods as well, the side impacts there. So as a driver, that must be very reassuring for you as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. Again, I think it's better. We've seen F1 obviously did it quite a while ago, and then it's leaked into all the feeder series on the way. So, I think it's just a standard now. You've got to have it. So it's really good that GB4 is incorporating this and having the halo on it. And like obviously handling wise, it does change the car a bit. The old GB4 being quite a lot lighter. It's heavier, but the car's still good. It makes up for it, and it's mega.
We have a slightly different engine to the GB3 car as well, because obviously the GB4 Championship, we have drivers from 15 years and up, so we've got a 2-litre, 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated engine. That's still got some serious grunt though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's got a really good amount of power, and it's naturally aspirated. So again, driving a little bit different to the old car. With the old car, you had to be in higher gears normally to get the power would come from lower revs. Well, this one, it's naturally aspirated, so you can get it from higher revs. So it's you drive it a little bit differently, do a little bit different things with the gears. So that would be interesting when all the new teams get this. All teams are back to square one in terms of learning about what they're going to do with setup. Drivers learning how to sort of get fast with the new car compared to what they've been doing with the old one.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting to see these cars out on track. Max, thanks very much. We'll let you get back to your driver coaching, and maybe we'll see you in this car doing a bit more testing again. For more information on this brand new GB4 car for 2025 onwards, check out the GB4 website. Yeah, looks absolutely great, that new car does. And for the meantime, we have the current GB4 car. The cars are out there doing their formation lap at the moment. So for the first time this weekend, let's go racing in the GB4 Championship here at Silverstone.
And yes, indeed, you can see there on the grid already an issue for Ava Dobson, of course, as they have already set their way around the circuit. As we'll head their way down into Cops and the likes. Of course, we already see them back down on the back end of the section. It'll be Linus Granfors starting from pole position, of course. And it will be alongside Lucas Blakely as well. It'll be a fantastic and interesting run, of course, as we get ready for racing here in GB4. And again, the excitement builds as we'll have to find out who's going to win this race. As we'll get ready to go racing. That is unfortunately not the grid. I'd like to see Megan Bruce on pole position alongside Dan Hickey, but it'll be Linus Granfors alongside Lucas Blakely. Callum Baxter in third position with Alicia Palmovsky in fourth. Harry Burgoyne Jr. in fifth position with Brandon Templeton in sixth. Liam Wilson will take 7th position alongside Jack Taylor on row number 4 with Finn Harrison down the order with a lot of work to do. We know how quick he can be in the number 38. He'll be alongside Megan Bruce, Chloe Grant and Dan Hickey starting from 12th position with Ava Dobson already having a bit of an issue. Originally slated to start from 13th, although I believe it might be the pit lane. We'll see Ava Dobson go. Of course, Lewis McGlade, Piers Pryor in the commentary booth. Linus Granfors starting from pole position. The championship, though, just 3 points between the top two. Harry Burgoyne Jr. leads.
We're loving this tight racing in GB3 and GB4. If you guys just caught the GB3 race not long before this one, you'll see that the championship is closed up once again. But GB4, it's no different, Lewis. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's still closer even. Obviously, the top three in the championship, Harry Burgoyne Jr. has 248 points. He'll be starting from 5th position. Linus Granfors has 245. He'll be starting from pole position. Obviously had a retirement on the very last lap of the previous race at Snetterton. And then Alicia Palmovsky, who ended up winning that race at Snetterton courtesy of the crash and then the post-race penalty for Lucas Blakely, who'll be starting alongside in that front row.
Yeah, it's a really interesting championship battle, actually, because no DNS for Burgoyne in first, 1 for Linus Granfors in second, and 2 for Palmovsky in third. But Granfors has the most wins.
Yeah.
So it's all different ways of going about a championship, but we'll see who comes out on top at the end of the season. But before then, we've got plenty more racing to come.
Well, we did 2 races around here at Silverstone earlier on in the year. They were both won by Linus Granfors, who's going to be starting this race from pole position. Round 13 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, is go down towards the first corner. Already stalled in the background. I think that's Finn Harrison, who is unable to get going. But it's Linus Granfors leading down to the first corner. I think it's been a good start from Lucas Blakely to hang on to second position. But he's having to fend off the lights behind. It's not going to be an easy run for him.
No, Callum Baxter's had a good start, putting the pressure on. I believe that was Blakely in second place. Couldn't get that move done. But it is Granfors who got away well, and Blakely's hold second place, but it's very, very close. Second, third, fourth, fifth place.
Yeah, and this is where we've said with the KMR Sport cars there might be a couple of struggles with them due to their approach this weekend, that they might have a couple of struggles in the straight line and they might be passed. It's not going to work for Chloe Grant, or at least in that favour, because she's going on the attack, trying to drag herself alongside Megan Bruce coming down into Stowe. They'll head their way in. It will still be the lead being held, of course, by Linus Granfors. They head their way down the hill. Then it's Lucas Blakely. Look at the pressure that's coming on, though. Alicia Palmovsky's got through into third position, and look at Harry Burgoyne Jr. going on the attack around the outside.
Yeah, Baxter's got passed by Alicia Palmovsky and then was trying to go around the up the inside into club, but that means that Burgoyne has now got to the inside, and they're going side by side. So close, but not quite touching. So that's down 2 places in as many corners from Callum Baxter, the 45 white car from GBR.
That was very tight. That was very, very tight. I almost had to take my eyes off the screen then, but great move from Harry Burgoyne Jr., who's got his KMR Sport car, the charcoal grey and the blue, up there into 4th position. His teammate Lucas Blakely is going on the attack, and the white and red there of Linus Granfors, the distinctive helmet on board that car. With the 18 minutes of this race, we should have 9 laps of racing. The first of those is almost ready to be complete. Out wide in the background, I think it was Megan Bruce going for Fox, so there was certainly a door open there, and I think there might be some more kerfuffling happening in the background.
Yeah, Lucas Blakely knows the pace that Linus Granfors has around this circuit. Of course, took victories last time we were here, and pole once again, so he's going to try and stay right underneath the rear wing for as long as he can, but keep the pressure on and force Granfors into potentially a mistake, because he knows if you give Granfors any space around here, he'll probably just run away with it.
Order over the line for the first time then. Linus Granfors will lead from Lucas Blakely. Alicia Palmovsky will be into 3rd position. Harry Burgoyne Jr. into 4th. Then Callum Baxter, Leon Wilson, Jack Taylor, Brandon Templeton, Dan Hickey and Megan Bruce, the top 10. Then it's Chloe Grant, Finn Harrison and Dobson, who is back out on the circuit. Running out wide there. Just struggling a little bit with track limits going down into the first corner. A couple of drivers really attacking that first turn.
I think that was the back of Leon Wilson we saw there from Arden in the there's a dark midnight blue with the white flashes. It's a great looking car, but Leon Wilson just pushing hard and going wide at the exit of turn number 1. Easily done, but you can't afford to do that too many times, otherwise the eyes of these stewards will be on you and you're potentially looking at a penalty. But I'm sure that the drivers, once the temperatures getting the tyres and brakes, will be staying well within those track limits, Lewis.
Well, how good was the battle, though, between Wilson and Baxter last round at Snetterton? I think it was race 2, where they were just basically all over each other all race long. Chloe Grant getting chucked into the mix late on in the race as well. Absolutely excellent. Expect to see very much the same thing around here, although it has been a calmer start to this race. There is Baxter, who seems to have some really good pace so far this weekend in that Graham Brunton racing car, really keeping up to the rear end there of Harry Burgoyne Jr. going through the foreground of shot. Then it's a bit of a gap back to that Wilson-Taylor-Templeton battle, and then a further gap back to the Hickey and then Megan Bruce and Chloe Grant battle.
Yeah, it's well, we said it's a fairly calm start to the race, Lewis, but we know what the end of a GB4 race can be like. You just run us through the highlights before the race there, and Snetterton, we saw drama on the last lap. Hopefully we don't see the same type of drama, but definitely plenty more racing to come as we see the pressure Chloe Grant is putting on the back of Megan. 2 female drivers in the championship. Great to have so many female drivers on the grid once again. Of course, the new addition of Dobson, although unfortunately not out in this race. It looks like Chloe Grant's got up the inside going to Brooklands actually, and Megan Bruce squeezing onto the inside. You can hang it around the outside of Brooklands. Can she do that to hold the place? Yes, she can, but that move is not completely done as Chloe Grant will try and go on the outside or potentially get the cut back onto the start-finish straight.
Yeah, indeed. She's looking for a pass as they head their way now up towards Cox, but there's a better launch off from Megan Bruce. See what the straight line speed's like, getting into the slipstream as well. Closing in the KMR Sport drivers. We head down towards turn 1. The charcoal grey and the blue is not going to be able to pass, so Chloe Grant has to settle for the position behind Megan Bruce. It is still Grand Fours leading, and he's just set the fastest lap of the race.
He has, but he actually faster in the first sector. There's 4 sectors here at Silverstone, which throws me off occasionally. Fastest in the first sector was actually Palmowski on that last lap, so she's closing in that gap ever so slightly.
Yeah, obviously you can see there is a bit of a gap that has formed between them. I think she's lost a little bit of space over the previous couple, but Lucas Blakely going slightly faster now in the first sector, closing into the rear end of Grand Fours. I mean, Blakely's kind of... Grand Fours battling for the championship. Blakely's not. Blakely's just here. He's got nothing to lose.
He's got absolutely nothing to lose. Blakely is out here to advertise himself as a racing driver, try and get some more opportunities. He's obviously very, very accomplished in sim racing and esports, and he's trying to pave his way in real motorsports. So the best way to do that is to go out and win. Did very well, of course, at Snetterton, taking 2 wins on the road. Fortunately, only 1 after an issue, wasn't it, after the results were amended, but still advertising himself very well. And he's going to try and do exactly the same thing this weekend. And so far, putting the pressure on Granfers. But we've seen Granfers this year. He's been, when he gets out in front, he very, very rarely relinquishes that lead. And if anyone can do it, then potentially Blakely's going to try and be that person.
Yeah, and of course, with the current positions in the race, obviously Linus Grand Fours will retake over the Championship League, which he has held for quite a while, to be fair. He'll retake over that one, and it will be by a fairly comfortable margin, to be perfectly honest, just because of Harry Burgoyne Jr. being a little bit further down the road. It'll be by 11 points he'd have a Championship lead. As there comes a look to the inside from Brandon Templeton. A bit of a lock-up as he's trying to complete his move on Taylor, but does indeed find his way past. So the 24 of Brandon Templeton in that white, blue and orange car has made its way past the white and red.
Oh, lovely move that was. Up the inside into Brooklands. Just snatched the inside tyre, but they kept the wheel rolling, so he shouldn't have a flat spot. And you know a move's late when the driver goes up the inside. Just snatches an inside brake. They're absolutely on the limit of grip, but didn't run wide. Got ahead to the apex, and then didn't give Jack Taylor any space to work with. So that's a great move from Brandon Templeton, moving up the field, and he will now set his sights on the number 27, slightly further up in that dark blue Arden car ahead.
About where you can find the opportunity around here. It's never particularly easy. We're almost approaching the halfway point of this one. Like I say, I do feel that the front battle is building up, although I will say that first sector did look a little bit stronger from Linus Grand Fours, as he's pulled a bit of a margin just coming down into Stowe on Blakely.
Almost identical last laps. Lucas Blakely, that last lap, 100th slower than our race leader, so the lap time's almost identical, although Linus Grand Fours is ever so slightly feeling the pressure. We just cut to that shot looking at them coming down the hanger straight, and Linus Grand Fours was ever so slightly easing left, easing right, trying to break the toe, so he clearly feels like he needs to do that, and it actually looks like Blakely is closed up ever so slightly in the middle sector. Actually, he hasn't. Again, 100th different between the front two. They're absolutely inseparable on lap times, but all it'll take is one mistake, either from Grand Fours to put himself under pressure, or from Blakely to lose that toe and give Grand Fours a free run at the race win.
The important bit, though, for Grand Fours is that he's pulling away from Palmowski and Burgoyne. Right,
that's championship rivals.
That's the important bit, exactly. He's battling for the big prize here. He had a retirement in the previous race. He lost that championship lead. He's desperate to restart proceedings here and really kind of get on with it, because we've not seen him win since Donington Park, which, in all senses, it was 6 races ago, but it feels ages ago because of the large gap that we had between rounds. As here comes the defensive line coming in from Wilson, taking it from, or trying to rather hold off from Jack Taylor.
Hang on. Something. Brandon Templeton's made a mistake. He's fallen behind. Because Brandon Templeton overtook Wilson overtook Taylor the last lap, didn't he? Or am I imagining things? No, yeah. Brandon Templeton overtook on the last time into Brooklands. Therefore, we've seen, away from cameras, Brandon Templeton just lose that position.
I'm not going to commit either way, mate. That's fine.
No, definitely, 100%.
No, you're absolutely right. Brandon Templeton has had some good speed, but drops back to the 8th position, and Taylor is the one on the attack. I wonder if he tried something, because I think there was a big of a gap between Wilson and Taylor. I wonder if he's tried something that slowed them both down and brought them back, Taylor. Then again, we are, it's fine. We're not the smartest people in the room.
talking about who is under pressure, and there genuinely is no attempted move here. Callum Baxter in the 45 white car on the right of your shot, trying to go around the outside of Harry Burgoyne Jr., the number 68 KMR Sport car with the blue highlights. This is going to be pressure into Vale. Burgoyne will go to the inside, defend that inside line. Baxter will probably look around the outside to try and put himself on the inside for Club. Burgoyne positions his car well. It's all about the exit now. Actually, Burgoyne's done well to get it stopped and push Baxter, or force Baxter to have to back off ever so slightly. And Burgoyne is safe for one more corner.
Yeah, but look at the run down into Abbey, already trying to break that slip. That's a little bit too close for the weaving for my liking. As to the outside, Baxter's going to go trying to find his way past Harry Burgoyne Jr. He did wiggle quite a lot there on the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight.
Yes, of course. You can only move, in theory, once and predictably. Burgoyne did have enough of a gap between himself and Baxter that I think that was probably just about acceptable. But of course, you can't be unpredictable in your defence because, of course, it could create danger. But so far, good defence from Harry Burgoyne Jr. And one thing that you need to do as you move up the motorsport ladder is learn how to position your car to defend your position, because positions are so hard to come by. As we've got a fight between the fighting through of Finn Harrison in the yellow car and Megan Bruce in the Fox Motorsport car. Harrison has had better pace than Megan this weekend, and after that poor start is just making up as many positions as he can. But Megan's not giving up though.
No, certainly not. Megan Bruce trying to get to the outside. There's a couple of battles that are all happening on circuit. Of course, you've got this one between Taylor in the white and red and Templeton in the white, blue and orange as they head their way through Luffield. You've obviously got the battle between Chloe Grant and Dan Hickey, and then you have the one between Finn Harrison and Megan Bruce there that we just saw. So Finn Harrison in the bright yellow car, after stalling on the start, managed to get back going again. He is trying to work his way through the order, but it's a far cry from the pace that we saw from out of Alton Park, where we saw him basically being the fastest driver.
Yeah.
There is also this fight here between Harry Burgoyne Jr. and Callum Baxter.
Yeah, that battle's going to continue on. Although, look at the front of the field, Lewis. That gap is certainly closer than it has been at any other stage. I think, actually, a bit of a slow first sector for Granfers, as we still got this battle going on for 5th place.
Yeah, he was looking down the inside, was Callum Baxter trying to get 4th position, but it was covered off quite nicely from Harry Burgoyne Jr. I thought there was going to be a bit of a move there, but now as we head down into the chicane, is there going to be another one? He attempted it, or at least had a little look to go around the outside a lap ago. This time it still won't work. Trying the up and under. Trying to go for the through goes Hamilton. It's not going to work on this occasion.
Unfortunately, not 2 cars there, but it's taking inspiration, but it's not done there because the slipstream is strong down the Hamilton straight. Now looking on the outside of Abbey, this is going to be a brave move. He does that. Not quite going to have to lift out of the throttle there, and unfortunately, because he had to lift out, he's not going to be able to effect a pass into Village this corner coming up.
He's got some strong survival instincts as Callum Baxter, not going for any major looks to the outside or trying it. He's looking at protecting the car, still going for the position, but not going for anything over the line, not trying anything too ridiculous, which I actually quite like seeing. But sometimes it's kind of like you've just got to get on with it. If you want to go and grab that podium, you've got to go for the move and get on with it. But Harry Burgoyne Jr. is he's basically asking the question to Callum Baxter of how much risk do you want to take? Do you really want to go around the outside at Abbey?
That's exactly the question, and what you need to do as a defending driver effectively is you're just placing your car so that it increases the risk of the driver behind to try and make a manoeuvre. Of course, if you defend to the inside and leave 1 car's width, it's unlikely they're going to go at the inside from behind you, but they still may do so. But we're looking back to that battle at the front of the field, because last lap out, the gap was under half a second, and actually slightly faster lap by 0.2 was Lucas Blakely, and now he's well within slipstream range. So if he can keep close through Maggotts and Beckett's, and actually a bit wide through Maggotts was Linus Granfors, so he's going to be under pressure going down the hanger straight. Looks like Blakely is actually not be able to carry a huge amount of speed through the middle of Beckett's, so maybe Granfors is going to be safe one more time, but pressure definitely being applied.
I know how much Lucas Blakely loves the circuit. He absolutely adores the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. This is one of his favourite circuits on the planet, and always has been in the world of sim racing. He's done Formula Fords and stuff like that around here, but now he gets to obviously racing GB4 out wide a little bit, goes Grand Fours, so he's starting to feel the pressure. There'll be 3 laps left to go, so 2.5 really from where we are as we head into the chicane and then past the wing. I mean, this is tight. Granfors is certainly feeling the pressure, but does he need to beat Blakely? That's the important question.
Does he need to? No. Does he want to? Absolutely, Lewis. You tell a racing driver, and young racing drivers like this, he's only 16 years of age, is Linus Granfors. He's going to try and defend that race win with all his might, because not only is Blakely trying to establish himself as a quick driver and win races, so is Granfors. But this battle also for 4th place is not done yet.
Certainly not, as Baxter is on the attack again, trying to find that way past Harry Burgoyne Jr., but The championship leader is yet to make a mistake in this race and is fending off quite well. Although I will say late on in the race, back in Snetterton, was doing a great job defensively and then did make a mistake in one of the races back in Snetterton. And again, in his entire GB4 career, is yet to take a victory, which is really crazy to say. This time I think he might not be hanging on to fourth position, because I get the feeling that it's going to be a lot closer for Baxter as we head down into Brooklyn to look to the outside as we will prepare ourselves for the penultimate lap of proceedings. But once again, Burgoyne Jr. with a bit of a slide is still able to hang on.
Yeah, pushing the car hard to the middle of the corner and doing a very good job of defending so far. And a lot of being an effective defensive driver is just getting good exits, because if you can get a good exit out of a previous corner and drive well onto the next straight, it means that the driver behind isn't going to be quite close enough into the braking zone or the turning point at the next corner to make a move. So Burgoyne doing that well. Of course, Burgoyne has many, many years of high-level karting experience in the UK, was one of the strongest junior drivers in British karting and European karting as well. So lots of close wheel-to-wheel battling in those championships. Very different the way you have to drive the car versus a kart, though. And you can see actually a bit of understeer through the exit of Chapel for Burgoyne as he was cranking on the lock, which means that Baxter will once again be right under the rear wing. And we can see in the back of shot that Baxter's tucked right under the rear wing. Baxter in that white car, a reminder for the Graham Brunton Racing team, who Burgoyne raced for last season. So round the outside goes Baxter of Stowe. This is going to be an absolutely monumental move if he can keep it there. But Burgoyne is squeezing. Great defensive driving once again.
Yeah, superb stuff between the pair of them. I mean, look, I'm seeing Baxter trying to leave it a little bit later, try to hang around a little bit further around the corner. He's running out of opportunities to pass Harry Burgoyne Jr., but he's certainly giving it a bit more of a look. It's getting closer as well for the front end of the field between Granfors and between Blakely. Unfortunately, Alicia Palmowski has got probably arguably one of the more boring races of her season. She's seeing a battle ahead of her, a battle behind her. Is just driving around and thinking, yeah, well, it's third place, is all right.
She'll take points for third place. Of course, she'd rather be in first or second, but she would absolutely take another podium. She's had a good string of results, and apart from those couple of retirements, she's been one of the most consistent drivers this season. Up there, of course, with the driver we're looking at right now, Harry Burgoyne, who is in the championship lead due to almost, not exclusively, but largely due to his consistency and not having any issues that are causing him not to finish races. So great driving this season so far, and continuing to show his racecraft that he has, even if the outright pace isn't quite where he would like it at the moment, but I'm sure he'll find that. He's a very quick driver, no doubt about that. But I've also been really impressed with Callum Baxter, actually. Oh, yeah. The last few race rounds, so Snetterton, I feel like he took a step forward. He was right up there in the fight for the fastest drivers. This weekend again, he's fighting for fourth place in this race. If they weren't fighting so much, who knows whether these two would be close to the back of Alicia Palmowski. So, it's a lot of stories, and interesting to see how the drivers are developing as the year goes on.
Final lap of the race then for Granfors to hang on for what would be a fifth victory of the season. Meanwhile, Blakely is knocking at the door for something special. He would love to take a victory around here, but probably even more so than he would have done at Snetterton, to be perfectly honest. He's closing in the slipstream, but I don't think it's close enough. The gap's grown by a tenth or two over the last couple of laps. A big filling of the mirrors coming in there from Blakely, but just not seeing the opportunity. What opportunities has he got left?
He's got Vale coming up right now, but he's not close enough to mount an opportunity. So at the moment, because he's just in that sort of 4/10 gap, that's not close enough to launch an attack unless Granfors makes a mistake. So he's waiting and trying to apply pressure so that Granfors just makes a slight error potentially on the exit of a corner, but Granfors has driven an almost perfect race so far. We've seen him just have a couple of little slides here and there, but other than that, his laps have been consistent. He's got the fastest lap of the race, only by 100th of a second over Blakely, and if he doesn't have any issues in this final sector, it will be another win in the GB4 Championship for both the Fortec Motorsport team and Linus Granfors.
Yeah, of course, Fortec did take the championship drivers-wise with the hands of Nicholas Taylor back in 2022. They couldn't really compete last year, but they are back to competing now. We head back to the battle between Hickey in 10th position, who's defending from Chloe Grant, trying to find her way past and inside the top 10. Unable to quite piece her way through. At the front of the field, though, it will most likely be that victory for Granfors and a fifth one of the season. We'll shout out to Alicia Palmowski. It'll be a fifth consecutive podium, which is impressive. You can see Lucas Blakely's not been able to close his way back in, not been able to find a way past, and not been able to take victory away from this driver here. Granfors crosses the line to take the win. Blakely in second position, and Palmowski will round out the podium, and then we've got a long wait back, basically, until we'll see Harry Burgoyne Jr. and Callum Baxter across the line for fourth and fifth.
Baxter just dropping off the back of Burgoyne in that last sector, so potentially just trying a little too hard and making a small error himself, but Not a huge amount of actual wheel-to-wheel race in that one, Lewis, but a lot of pressure being applied. And actually, Hickey's actually under pressure over the line as Chloe Grant's got an overlap, and who's going to be? It is Hickey who takes the final space inside the top 10 once again for that Fortec Motorsport team. So yeah, interesting race there, Lewis. Lots of little stories, and looking forward to seeing how things progress the weekend, and good to see the good sportsmanship between the two drivers at the front. Blakely giving a wave to Granfors. Granfors converting that pole position into another race win. What a season he's having so far.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I'm going to read out to you the last couple of results for him, because obviously, we know how we started the season, where we had the first. We had 4 consecutive victories. From then, it was a fourth, it was a ninth, it was a fourth, it was a fourth, it was a retirement. Now, I don't get me wrong, the retirement was a race that I still maintain. I think he probably should have won that race.
He was going for the lead. In the move he was going for the lead was when he got taken out, yes.
But the thing is, he's looking at those results, 4th, 9th, 4th and 4th. Those 4 races there. Harry Burgoyne Jr. was 3rd, 7th, 3rd and 2nd. Meanwhile, Alicia Palmovsky was 9th, 3rd, 2nd and 1st in those. I felt that Linus Granfors had dropped off a little bit. I think he is absolutely back.
Oh, he's absolutely back. I mean, pole position, race win. We know that Fortec Motorsport car is good around here. He just had, as you mentioned, a bit of a mid-season, I wouldn't say wobble, just hasn't quite found his feet. Things haven't gone his way. And it's allowed people like Pomorski, who's had, 3 podiums at Snetterton, which is a great result for her, and put her right in championship contention after she was a little way behind after the first couple of rounds, and of course those couple of DNFs. But yeah, it's if Granfors continues, or if this is a kick on from Granfors, like we saw, from the race 3 at Alton Park all the way through Silverstone 1, we could be hard pressed to find anyone else that can chase him. But of course, Palmovski's doing, coming on strong at this stage of the season. But Burgoyne Jr. is really finding his feet with some consistent results as well. So, well, it's too close to tell, though. It's too close to tell. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. And of course, with some new drivers jumping in and mixing things up like Blakely as well, then that also adds to the story. But what a drive from Granfors, celebrates once again. Yeah, and again, superb performance from Linus Granfors, from Harry Burgoyne Jr. as well. Like I say, going to relinquish the championship lead. Fair enough, though. Still basically took what he could take from that race with a 4th place finish. For Alicia Palmovsky, it will be a 5th consecutive podium. She was on the podium in all 3 races instead. In fact, almost took the clean sweep. The only time that she didn't win was when Lucas Blakely took a victory in that first race. She finished 2nd for 1st and 1st. Now is back on the podium with a 3rd place finish. I say, maybe things might turn around for her in the championship, and she'll throw herself properly into championship contention. But for now, it is the championship lead returning to Granfors, and Linus Granfors, I say, he is looking strong. He is looking comfortable. Had maybe a couple of questions thrown his way over the last few rounds, but has most certainly found his placing once more as he keeps his eyes focused higher up. The championship lead, by the way, again, I will update you post, or at least when they're on the podium, as to what the championship standings are. Linus Granfors will be on 280 points. I thought I'd do the top 3 at least. Harry Burgoyne Jr. will be on 269, and Alicia Palmovsky will be on 256. So the top 3 will be separated by 24 points. There's somebody who knows how to win a championship. Nicholas Taylor, once again, sneaking into shot. Around somewhere, I'm sure you might be able to see the likes of Tom Mills, obviously the KMR Sport team that have looked so strong the last couple of years. I'll say the last couple of years. They've won the team championship in the first year, they've won the team championship in the second year, and they're looking to go after very much the same with their pace and consistency that they've had. But they're eyeing up the Drivers' Championship as well. Linus Granfors out, shaking a hand with Richard Dutton, the team owner of Fortec, and of course having probably a little bit of a chat. The last time we saw him win was 2 months ago. Let's catch up with him, with John Jackson, to see exactly how he's feeling after that one.
Thank you very much, Lewis. We've also got inaugural GB4 champion Nick Taylor down here as well, just to add to the names you just mentioned there. Linus speaking with Richard Dutton, as you said there, and I'm just going to rudely interrupt because that's what I do. Linus, congratulations. You've won 5 races now this season after a little bit of a gap without a race win. How do you feel?
Yeah, it feels good. It was fast, so I was just behind him all the time, so if I did a mistake, he was going to try to overtake, but I didn't did that much of a mistake this race, so yeah, it was good.
Has your brother given you any advice around here? We enjoyed watching him race here.
What can you say?
Has Joel given you any advice here for this track?
Yeah, well, we looked at his video when he was doing GP3, of course, and yeah, he's also been fast there, so I think it's a Swedish thing to be fast there as well.
Absolutely is. So you've got now the championship leader. How do you feel about that with only sort of 3 different, well, including this round, we've got Donington and Brands Hatch coming up. It's a good place for you to be at this part of the season.
Yeah, well, it feels good, of course. We've been fast on Donington as well, and yeah, we've never been to Brands Hatch. We don't know how fast we are there, but we know for sure that we're fast here and at Donington, so yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll find out how fast you are a little bit later in the year. Linus, congratulations. We'll let you go and get your trophy. Congratulations there to Linus Grandforce. Here he is. Lucas Blakely coming second. Another podium for you. You're made of podiums, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I tried. It was right in front of me, so it's obviously there's always a hint of disappointment to not get the win, but you know, congrats to Linus. You know, he didn't make any major mistakes. I put him under pressure, but yeah, huge thanks to KMR Sport as well. The car was working really nice in that race. Had a lot of fun. Yeah, we get another go tomorrow though from the front row. So yeah, all in all, I'm happy.
It's going to be good to see. You told me yesterday you were quite envious of Linus's pace he's got here. You know, you kept up with him and you did have an opportunity there. You must be quite proud of your race there.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, that's just a testament to the work that, you know, the team and myself have just sort of tried to put in over these, you know, the test sessions and then into qualifying, and it's all just starting to piece together nicely. Obviously everyone else here's actually already raced here this year, so I knew that I had to come here this weekend and, you know, get on it immediately. And yeah, if you'd have told me that I'd have ran Linus really hard for that win, given, you know, how, you know, earlier this year he absolutely dominated here, yeah, I'll absolutely take that going into tomorrow. So yeah, good.
Excellent stuff. We'll let you go and get yet another trophy, Lucas.
All good.
There we go. Lucas Blakely finishing second with KMR Sport. Big shout out to KMR Sport team. Alicia Malmosky coming third here. Another podium for you. Lewis McGlade on commentary said you've had quite a boring race. Was that boring for you driving around Silverstone in a pretty cool car?
It was quite nerve-wracking, to be honest, especially towards the start of the race. We had a pretty good start, managed to get into third on lap 1 on the approach to Stowe. But then after that, I just clearly didn't have the pace of the front 2 guys ahead of us. So we've got a debrief to do as a team because I don't turn up to finish third. We're trying to win races, so it's not where I want to be. But I was aware that I was falling away and didn't have the slipstream of the guys in front, whereas I was aware I was towing the guys behind. So especially around a place like Silverstone at such high speed, I knew that I might be a little bit of a sitting duck potentially. But we were okay, managed to pull away, and then it was a little bit of a boring race, but I just tried to, had quite a lot of understeer in the car, so I was just trying to manage that as best as possible. But just hopefully we can take the fight to the guys tomorrow.
If a bad day is a podium, I think that's not too bad. We'll look forward to seeing what you can do in the next couple of races. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Alicia Malmosky with Elite Motorsport getting another podium there. And speaking of the podium, Lewis McGlade will talk you through the podium up to my right.
Apparently fairly stressful then, my goodness. I mean, to be fair, understand that when you're dealing with a circuit like this and wrestling with what can be a tricky car, and of course with a championship on the line as well. If you make a mistake in that, it's not just the weekend's work gone, it's also you know, it can be pushing towards the year. As the struggles continue for some. We'll see them up onto the podium though, and of course our champ leader in Linus Grandforce, Harry Burgoyne Jr. Up there as well. Alicia Palmowski, the top 3 really fighting for this championship. And I will say there is a battle for 4th in the championship with Callum Baxter quite close in tow as well. But we'll update with that after we've done with the podium and after we've done with highlights as well from round 13 of the championship. When will we see Harry Burgoyne Jr. one back on the podium, which he did have a couple of podiums back in Snetterton, but taking a victory? That's the big shock. That's why he's relinquished the champ's bleed. Alas, it's certainly not happened in this one. Someone who has returned to the podium though will be Linus Grandforce and of course Lucas Blakely, who had an excellent round at the previous round of the championship. Lucas Blakely finished first, third and fifth. It was the first on the road, but of course he had that one taken away courtesy of a penalty. Alas, feeling the pressure, still managed to bring home a second place finish in this one to grab yet another podium. We'll see them out onto the podium. It's of course Alicia Palmowski for a 5th consecutive time taking to the steps of the podium. Of course, she's lost a couple of ground in the championship courtesy of the retirements for her. Lucas Blakely back on the podium for his 4th race this year in 2024. It'll be his 3rd podium, of course. And then onto the top step for the first time in 2 months. It's Linus Grandforce onto the top step. The only time he's been on the podium for victories. Of course it is, as they'll receive the trophies off of John Cavill. And of course, Linus Grand Force, he took 4 consecutive victories rather. It was the final race of Bolton Park, Silverstone 1, Silverstone 2, and then of course we did have the next race cancelled, and then of course Donington Park, the first race on the Donington Park weekend. From that point on, the highest finish was 4th place. But of course, that trophy will be very sweet indeed, reigniting his championship charge after the after that round 7 of the championship, after the first race at Donington. I thought he was going to run away with the championship. Alas, it turned very much on its head after that. But alas, this victory will reignite it for him. Highlights then from round 13 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. An unfortunate staller on the grid in Finn Harrison, who raced our way down towards the first corner. It was Linus Granfors holding on to the race lead as the battling would happen behind. Lucas Blakely fending off Callum Baxter as they'd raced their way down towards Magnus Beckers and Chaplin. Eventually get his way through, and Baxter was feeling the pressure not from Alicia Palmovsky but from Harry Burgoyne Jr. as well, dropping back to 4th position and then eventually back down to 5th because of this look coming in from Harry Burgoyne Jr. straight to the inside as they head their way through Club and out onto the Hamilton straight. It was Harry Burgoyne Jr. up to 4th position to try and chase down the rear end of Alicia Palmovsky, and of course Baxter dropping back down into 5th position. The race lead was comfortably though being held by Linus Granfors, and I say comfortably, well, he had the pace and he had the measure of Lucas Blakely, but Blakely was all over the rear end of him. Basically throughout the entire race they were separated by no more than 0.6 of a second, and he was really trying to keep that pressure on. They would trade fastest laps, but it would go in favour of Linus Granfors, at least on the fastest lap department. The lap times were looking strong for the Fortec driver as he was pulling clear of Lucas Blakely, and just as the pair of them were pulling clear of the rest of the field. It was a tight battle between the pair of them though, and tight battles down the order as well, as Dan Hickey would have a tight one across the line with, of course, Chloe Grant. Very tight between the pair of them, but ahead of all of that it was an excellent victory from Linus Granfors, who would come through to take top honours, of course, over Lucas Blakely and Alicia Palmovsky. A brilliant performance from Granfors. We'll take a look, of course, at the provisional results from the race, and we'll see that excellent victory once more from Linus Granfors, who once again has delivered a phenomenal performance in that race to take a 5th victory of the season. I don't think he'll be able to go after the top honours overall when it comes to going after most race wins of the season, because let's be honest, look at how many Nicholas Taylor and, of course, most notably, Tom Mills had just last year, where they were well, firing on all cylinders, it must be said. Granfors then will take the victory, of course, half a second clear of Lucas Blakely. Alicia Palmovsky in 3rd position, with Harry Burgoyne Jr. in 4th, relinquishing the championship lead. Callum Baxter, driver he was able to beat out as they came across the line down to 5th position. Then Brandon Templeton, Wilson, Taylor, Harrison and Hickey, the top 10. Of course, the 3 cars behind that would be Chloe Grant, Megan Bruce and Ava Dobson on debut, although she did have a stall on the race start. We'll head down to Piers though, who is of course catching up with Harry Burgoyne Jr., who relinquished the championship lead.
Yeah, we saw in the results there, of course, the close fight between Harry and Callum Baxter. Harry, let's just hear about it from your perspective. Looked like you had to soak up a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very hard battle. He's very good at applying pressure. He did go around outside a couple of times, but I managed to defend him off. He was very fast in a straight line speed, which you always are behind someone round here, because the draft's so big, so it's hard to really keep in front of people in straights.
But you managed it, and of course you've got that 4th place, which I'm sure is important for your championship, especially when Linus is winning the race. You need to just minimise that points deficit.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get a couple podiums tomorrow, that would be nice, but just top 5, that would be nice. We're not the strongest round here, so we struggle a little bit, but Donington and Brand should be good for us.
Another strong result, and one of the big assets of your season so far has been the fact that you've just pounded in the results when other drivers have had issues. Same again, I suppose, is it the outlook just to try and get as many points as possible without losing losing out on anything?
Yeah, I mean, you try and get as many points as you can, because it's always helpful in the end. Like, we came into this round leading 3 ahead. We entered Snetterton 27 behind, so to come out 3 ahead was always good. But I reckon he'll get the lead after this round, but you just need to see anything can happen.
Anything can happen. We saw that at Stetson. Harry, I'll go and let you chill out and get prepared for tomorrow. And we'll bring in your accomplice. Harry was fighting with you race long, where you were fighting with Harry right up against his gearbox, tried a number of inside, outside, couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Harry was defending very well and just wasn't quite able to get around him, but yeah, it was a lot of fun out there.
A lot of fun. Harry positioned his car well.
He did. He defended very well, yeah.
And was there anything you think, in hindsight, I could have done this, maybe I should have tried there, that you think to get through?
Yeah, I definitely think there was a few times I could have capitalized, but I'll watch the video and be ready for tomorrow.
There's always more to learn, and you talk about tomorrow, solid qualifying from yourself, right up in the front of the field again. What can you do?
Yeah, just I think a better first lap, because fortunately I lost 2 spots that race. And I think after a good first lap, I'll be right in the fight.
Okay, Callum, and reverse grid as well? That could be a nice opportunity for you?
Yeah, the reverse grid races are always fun, so I'm looking forward to it.
Right, Callum, we'll let you go and chill out with the rest of your team and get ready for the evening, and we'll grab a word with Yo Granforce. Yo, come on in. Good to see you. Of course, Yo Granforce, for those who weren't around maybe in 2022, you were racing with us in the GB4 Championship, so nearly took the title just behind Luke Browning and doing amazingly out in the States now, but I assume you're here supporting your brother who just took the win.
Yeah, I am. Just here trying to coach him a bit, and seems to be working well so far. So
working very well. Pole position and a race win, taken after yourself. Great speed, same team as well. What's it like being on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, it's a bit different, like the whole thing, it almost feels like it's a lot slower pace now. It's just on the side. There's no pressure on me really, so I'm just here to watch it basically. But it's fun to be here coaching him, and he's doing very well now. So it's good to have him here.
Does he listen to you, or does he ignore you because you're his brother, or what's he like?
No, I think we work pretty well together, so yeah.
And also, just for those who have, maybe been not followed up on your progress since GB3, you've moved out your racing primarily in the States. Tell us about what you're doing.
Yeah, I did last year in the US, and then this year's kind of been a year off, not done any races, but we've done some testing and stuff, trying to keep up, and then we will see what we do next year.
What's the plans for next year? Do you know where you're going or where you're looking at least?
We're looking at a bunch of different stuff, It's both in Europe and in the States, so we'll see. It's very hard to tell now. It's still a lot of time left until the season starts next year, so we'll see what we can get.
Yo, thank you very much for catching up with us. Great to see you. We'll let you go and do some more coaching, because clearly it's working well for us. So I'll bring Jonas back in. Great to see Yo Granforce.
I thought Yo was going to walk backwards there into the garage and just disappear. How cool, how cool. Great to see Yo. Nice to know he's doing all right there. Another entertaining race. I did ask Alicia Pawlowski, you won't know this, I did ask her if she did have a boring race.
Okay.
Lewis did mention it on the commentary, and she said, yeah, it was quite boring. So,
well, there you go.
Lewis called it perfectly, so thank you very much, Lewis. We'll be back for more from the GB4 Championship tomorrow. We have 2 more races, as we always do. We have one more race that's been determined by qualifying earlier today. And we also have the reverse grid race as well. That will be from midday tomorrow. And what we expecting, Piers, I think it might be a little bit cooler, although the temperature has dropped noticeably here since the start of the race. It's very changeable conditions at Silverstone. It happens quite a lot.
I thought the weather tomorrow is looking like it could be a little bit warmer actually.
Maybe I've got it the wrong way around.
Maybe you have. I think it's supposed to be a little bit warmer, which will actually help the GB4 cars a little bit more, because they take generally a little while for the tyres to get up to perfect pressure and temperature, which is why we see the fastest laps often coming at the end of the race. So a bit warmer, then we'll get, they'll be a bit racier at the start. So who knows, we might see some more wheel-to-wheel action in the first half of the race.
I think we absolutely will. We're going to see some more battles throughout the field. And as I say, midday tomorrow is the next race. In the meantime, you can check out all the social media on the GB4 social media pages and on the GB4 website. You can see the full classification as well. And of course, we have GB3 coming back tomorrow as well. So GB3 is around about 10:30, GB4 midday. So 2 races fairly close together. We'd love to see you there. Make sure that you can just get on the YouTube channel, or maybe you're watching on Facebook as well. And actually, we love the comments as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes, Piers, I go through the comments, right? And there's some very derogatory things said about me and a certain celebrity I might look like. So I don't want any of that. Stop doing that. We want none of that. I don't know if you think Piers looks like someone. Maybe drop some comments about here who Piers looks like.
Or not.
Look like an old racing driver at F3 a few years ago, 2020?
No, it couldn't be me.
Raced against Max Maserati? No, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. So yeah, midday tomorrow is when we're back with the GB4 Championship, and you can catch the GB3 Championship a little bit earlier at 10:30. We'll see you then.